In the world of music, few have experienced the meteoric highs and punishing lows of fame quite like Liam Payne. A singer, much loved by the public, died just this year, only 31, leaving fans and the world in disbelief. But behind his death lies a bigger story.
I flew to New York just to see you. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you.
You need a ride or anything? Yeah.
Music, modelling, doing everything. Do you ever get a minute to yourself?
Well, I'm seeing somebody, so... But that's not really gossip now anymore, I don't think.
Any plans for the holidays?
Yeah, I'm gonna spend it with my son.
Oh, you are? Awesome. Awesome. Good dad.
I think anybody in the public limelight who's a celebrity is at risk of being able to get access to drugs.
You know, they wanted fame and fortune and all those things, and they really got it.
The outcome could be different if it was handled differently.
I just thought, where is the care for these young people who come to fame at such an early age?
And that's the part that makes me really worried and concerned for others as well, that might be putting on a brave face but really needs to ask for help.
It's between being sad, being relieved that he isn't suffering anymore.
And it's not what you think it actually is. It's a very frightening place to be and isolating.
You're the busiest guy ever. Daddy Cool, as I call you.
There we go, that's nice. No, amazing. I mean, it's so great to be back in London with this, and obviously this is the arena where One Direction was made, so it holds very, very special memories for me.
Liam Payne had dreams bigger than most, but even he couldn't imagine just how far those dreams would take him.
Any wishes for the New Year's?
Happiness.
Happiness. Perfect.
That's what I thought.
Guys, can we all just air high-five each other because you're now movie stars? Get it? Yes, you did it.
On the evening of October 16th, 2024, tragedy struck in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Liam Payne, former One Direction star and beloved pop icon, was found dead after a fatal fall from the third-floor balcony of the Casa Sur Hotel. He was only 31.
There are thousands and thousands of your fans packed out here. Some of them have been here for 48 hours, some of them even longer.
I think worldwide we all feel exactly the same. It's truly heartbreaking. I met Liam a handful of times and he was always such a sweet boy. Just very enthusiastic, amazing voice, very handsome lad. It's just even thinking about it now, it's heartbreaking, and none of us can still quite believe it, to be honest.
I was heartbroken. He was a young lad from the same town as me. He walked the same streets as me. You know, I knew the school he went to, people he kind of hung around with. I thought of his parents, Jeff, Karen, his sisters.
Still can't believe it, really. I mean, honestly, yeah.
Can't believe it.
Like everyone, you know, we had the honour of working with him over the years, and yeah, it was such a shock, and so sad. You know, I think everyone's still trying to come to terms with it, really.
As investigators delved into the circumstances surrounding his fall, disturbing details began to emerge. A toxicology report revealed the presence of multiple substances in Payne's system at the time of his death. Among the drugs detected, pink cocaine was found, a potent and dangerous mix of methamphetamine, ketamine, MDMA, and other chemicals. Cocaine and benzodiazepines were also found, indicating the severity of the substance.
Just tell us what you saw yesterday.
So we're here with a couple of other guests in the hotel, and we were in the lobby just waiting for some people to arrive, and that's when we had multiple encounters with Liam. multiple times, had come down to the lobby, was causing a disturbance, kept being escorted back up to his room. There was an incident where he was very frustrated and was smashing his laptop in the lobby. And then the final time he came back down, he actually passed out in the lobby of the hotel. Looked like convulsing a little bit and had to be physically taken back up to his room. And that was about 5 minutes before the eventual incident that happened. So,
did you hear him fall? Did you see him fall?
Yeah, so I was in my hotel room, 2 floors below and directly below, and saw the body fall through, looking out the window, saw the body fall, and obviously heard the aftermath and could see his body on the ground afterwards.
This is the view from Brett's first floor balcony onto the courtyard below where he saw Liam's body.
You almost had to pinch yourself to understand and process what you were seeing, but it just was an out-of-body experience, like surreal.
Doug Jones is a friend of Brett's, attending his wedding.
There was a lot of noise throughout the day, starting like middle of the day, a lot of shouting, yelling.
He was staying in a room next to Liam Payne's suite.
Probably between 3 and 4, I heard the door slamming a lot, and it got really bad. Like there must have been people coming and going or whatever. And then lastly, a really, really loud yell, probably somewhere between 4:45 and 5 o'clock on Tuesday. And I was actually getting ready to meet a friend down in the lobby at 5:30, and that's when I came down and I heard all the sirens.
In Payne's hotel room, investigators discovered an improvised aluminium pipe, commonly used for drug ingestion. His behavior suggested considerable drug use that night. Before the fatal fall, hotel staff had already contacted authorities, reporting that Payne appeared to be under the influence of drugs and alcohol. Their fear that his erratic state might lead to a life-threatening incident.
The Independent Scientific Committee on Drugs maintained that really alcohol was the most dangerous drug, both in terms of self-harm and harm to others.
People are always happy to use drugs that make them feel better, and certainly all the drugs which are used may have some temporary improvement, for example, in mood, but the problem is that the majority of them, including benzodiazepines, you develop a psychological and a physical dependency, so that you have to keep on taking them, and you have to keep on taking more of them.
The fall caused multiple traumatic injuries, with Payne suffering both internal and external bleeding. Despite emergency response, he was declared dead at the scene. Liam Payne's death shocked millions, but behind the tragedy lies a deeper story. One of personal struggle, substance abuse, and the relentless pressures of fame that may have led him down a dark and dangerous path.
In the city, fans held a vigil for the star. Each had their lives touched by One Direction and Liam.
Well, I follow them since I was 8. When they came here, I was 10 and I went to see them. I have them here and I can really assume that he has left.
I'm 100% broken hearted. I have lost my biggest idol. I know that nothing and no one will ever fulfill that void he left in me.
Before the arenas, before the headlines, before the world screamed his name, Liam Payne was just a boy from a small town in England. His love for music was clear from a young age, and he started performing at school and local events, showing a natural talent and passion for singing. Despite being bullied as a child, he used music as an escape, finding confidence and joy in performing. Liam even took singing lessons and practiced relentlessly, driven by a dream to make it big. After finishing school, Liam chose to pursue his dreams in the music industry, rather than continuing on to higher education. His early ambitions led him to audition for the X Factor in 2008, when he was just 14 years old. As big of a dream this was for Liam, He had no idea what would lie ahead.
They've come from every corner of the capital and beyond, all heading in one direction, Leicester Square.
Really excited.
Really excited.
No, I just hyperventilate.
I will hyperventilate. No,
I'll try my number at him. Here's my number.
Though his talent was undeniable, Judge Simon Cowell felt he wasn't quite ready, sending him home with advice to return in a few years. Undeterred, he spent the next 2 years honing his craft, training his voice, and performing wherever he could. Liam's life changed forever at just 16 years old, performing Cry Me a River by Justin Timberlake, a song that showcased his vocal range and passion for music. While most teenagers are still discovering who they are, Liam was thrust into the global spotlight, facing the intense pressures of fame almost overnight. The judges saw something special in him, and in 4 other contestants. Together, Simon Cowell suggested that they form a group, one that would very quickly take the world by storm. Liam Payne's career, like many young pop stars, could be seen as a case of someone caught in the demanding and often unforgiving pop music machine. This refers to the high-pressure system of the music industry that prioritizes commercial success and public image over the well-being of artists, particularly young ones. Like his bandmates, Liam wasn't prepared for the relentless scrutiny and expectations of the music industry. He went from being an ordinary teenager to an international sensation, with little time to adjust to his new reality. Simon's vision for the group turned them into a global phenomenon, forever changing the landscape of pop music.
They are the hardest working boys I've ever worked with. They still haven't changed. They're really respectful to their fans. They're hard-working, great British export. My own working relationship with the boys is that they've been a joy to work with.
Liam quickly earned the role of a leader, often taking responsibility for their vocal arrangements and serving as a pillar of stability during their whirlwind rise. In 2013, at the peak of their fame, One Direction released This Is Us, a documentary offering fans a behind-the-scenes look at their whirlwind success.
Hi, Gemma. Hi. There was a really good part of the film where you all went your separate ways to get some time off.
Oh, do you remember that?
Do you look forward to having time apart? And who do you miss the most when you are away from each other?
Well, we've just come back to work today after having a bit of time off, and it's so funny that the first time we walk into a room, the loudest person in the room is always Louis. He's always got some sort of story to tell, so that's quite fun. First thing I got up to this morning was, oi, oi, from Louis. So, no, we definitely miss each other on time off, and I mean, we spend a lot of time with each other on our time off as well, if the occasion arises.
And also, probably the only con about what we do is that we don't get to go home often, so it's kind of nice that we do get little bits of time to go home, and yeah, we actually do spend quite a bit of time with each other during our time off as well. But yeah, going home is a good thing.
But nice. You're always looking forward to coming back, to be fair, because
you go home
well,
for
I've
2
always
days.
got a story to tell anyway, but obviously
Don't tell
I'll
him
have to
that
tone
one.
that down from now on.
He didn't mean that.
What's that like for you to have such a huge following?
Them seeing you has, created that sort of hysteria, and they just want to run after you. And
the main thing about our fans is that they massively made our band. I mean, with like social media and that these days, and the amount of time that they spend tweeting about us and spreading the word, that's how we got to go to other countries and make things happen for us over there. So I think that's the most important part about this film, is just to show that the fans are the people who put us where we are.
Do you feel the pressure and responsibility as well?
Less pressure, responsibility for sure. I think 100%. It's important that you don't. I think it's important that you realise who your audience is, and
a lot of girls that see us as, a lot of younger people see us like role models, And you know, that's a responsibility to have, and hopefully we're doing it justice, I guess.
While the film showcased the band's global tour, massive crowds and camaraderie, it also hinted at the intense pressures they faced. The demands of this non-stop schedule inevitably left little room for personal growth or time to address the mental and physical tolls that fame was taking on Liam and the rest of the band. At just 20 years old, he was grappling with the emotional toll of constant fame, often expressing in interviews how much he missed his family and struggled with the fast pace of life on the road. As the pressure mounted, so did the personal struggles. Liam spoke openly about battling anxiety and stress throughout his career, issues that became even more evident after One Direction's hiatus. The industry's constant focus on productivity and image left little support for young artists dealing with the emotional strain that comes with stardom.
Well, and just because somebody's rich or just because somebody's famous doesn't make them less vulnerable. In some cases, it makes them more vulnerable.
You also have to think about how does this affect that person's individual lives. Well, it might affect their career, but it may also affect their personal relationships.
From 2011 to 2015, One Direction operated at a breakneck pace, releasing 5 albums in 5 years, while embarking on grueling world tours.
We're really excited to be here. This is just unbelievable. What the fans have done here tonight and what they have done for the last few years has just been amazing. And this is what we're doing this kind of stuff for. Like, to stand out here on Leicester Square and have, you know, our fans come out and join in with us on the biggest night of our career.
People camping out for a couple of days, well, it's so mad to think about, and I can't believe that they got us to this stage.
They disbanded in 2016, officially announcing their split. For Liam, this was both a moment of uncertainty and an opportunity, a chance to finally step into the spotlight as a solo artist.
Liam and Louis, how do you feel that you've won this Brit Award tonight?
Well,
we've got some microphones, yeah.
No, it's good to go actually.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Well, we just found out this is number 6 that we've won over the time we've been doing this, which is amazing. I mean, you know, we've been on a break for a little while, and it's been like getting back on a bike, I guess, a little bit today, so it's been a bit mad.
That's a good way of putting it,
It is,
yeah.
it's a very metaphorical term, which has been fun.
I think we kind of decided late that we were going to come here like a couple of weeks ago, so I mean, we didn't really anticipate that we were going to win an award, so it's another testament to our fans, really, just how great they are, yeah.
And what do the Brit Awards over the years mean to you? Have you had good times here?
The best times. I mean, this was the first award show I think we did when we started out in the band, and obviously, you know, being in your home country and winning awards is the best thing in the world, really. We've watched them as kids and seen, you know, people go through the Brit Awards a number of times, and for us to be up here stood now is quite crazy, to be honest with you.
Liam's first steps into his solo career were marked by a bold new sound. His debut single, Strip That Down, introduced a more mature R&B influenced style, signalling a clear departure from his boy band roots. Over the next few years, Liam continued to explore a range of musical styles, from pop and R&B to electronic influences, releasing singles like Get Low with Zed and Bedroom Floor. But this experimentation and uncertainty sometimes felt risky. Liam was candid about feeling scared at times about how people would react to his solo work, which was far more personal than his contributions within a group setting. Going from being in one of the world's biggest boy bands to embarking on an individual career meant he had to step out of a comfortable, familiar environment and establish his unique identity as a solo artist. The stakes were high for each of the One Direction members, as they each had to prove they could stand on their own, musically and commercially. For Liam, this pressure was amplified by his own insecurities and a perfectionist streak. He mentioned feeling uncertain about his musical direction, as he didn't want to merely replicate the style of One Direction, yet he also wanted to maintain a connection to his fans from that era.
Hey, Daddy Cool, how you
Hello,
doing?
how
I'm
are you?
good.
Good to see you.
Look at
You
this
always
pop-
call me Daddy Cool.
I know. Look at this
You
little.
feel old.
Yeah, but you are a daddy. You're the big D-dog.
Big D dog, that's better. I mean, that sounds it's a bit fruity, like.
I know, but look at your
People
album
will say
to come.
things. You got to watch about that.
I think the last 3 songs we've heard have been fruity, Liam.
This is true. I don't know what people actually think of me. I get sent a lot of songs that are quite naughty.
Yeah.
Naughty
Let's
guy.
roll with it.
Naughty guy. who
Album
does?
name could be fruity, could be D-dog, could be Daddy Cool.
I mean, they're all on the list now, aren't they? You just put them right there.
I was gonna say,
In 2019, Liam released his debut album, LP1, featuring a mix of upbeat tracks and ballads.
And the debut album, so proud of you, Liam.
Thank you very
Are
much.
you happy with it? Are you happy about the response to it and everything?
Yeah, no, it's been really great. I mean, it was nice to finally get it finished, to get something out there that was a good body of work. And yeah, just looking forward to making more.
Music, modelling, doing everything. Do you ever get a minute to yourself?
I've had a lot of minutes this week, actually, maybe too many.
Great to see you,
Thank you
darling.
very
Thank
much.
you.
While the album received mixed reviews, it solidified Liam's place as a solo performer. Songs like Stack It Up and For You, a collaboration with Rita Ora for the 50 Shades Freed soundtrack, further demonstrated his evolution as an artist. His collaborations with prominent artists signaled his intent to redefine himself in the pop music landscape.
I'm happy to be kicking off this year with For You, obviously that album Rita. I think it's a really great start to the year. And I know the songs that I've got in the bag. Album's kind of waiting a little bit now while I just get myself in order with these singles that I like, and then we'll be bringing it back. I'm so happy to be out performing again. Obviously it's been a little minute. My new single just came out, so I'm really excited about that. And obviously there's lots going on around that at the moment. Yeah, it's just great to be here.
The transition to solo life was not only a career change for him, but also a deeply emotional shift. Liam missed the support system the band provided. He once described how, when they were together, each of the members could rely on each other to share the burdens of fame and responsibility. That all changed when they started working solo, and he found himself facing the pressures alone. There was also an element of loneliness that crept in, especially as he was used to being on tour and traveling constantly with his bandmates for nearly 5 years. Liam has also mentioned how One Direction was like a machine that kept them busy and focused, but when it stopped, he felt a bit lost. He needed to find his footing, not only as an artist, but also as an individual, and that transition wasn't easy. He dealt with some personal challenges, including mental health struggles, during this period, and he has said that being thrust into solo work without that built-in support network was both freeing and frightening.
Of course I miss the guys. I mean, but it's a very different experience. You know, you get your own choice in the music sort of stuff. You haven't got to run it by 4 other people. The timing's different. Like, you know, people used to turn up very, very, very late. We were like, 5 rowdy teenagers. So, you know, timekeeping's a little bit easier. It runs a bit smoother. It's okay.
Liam has spoken openly about the pressures of fame and how they took a toll on his mental health. After years in the spotlight, the weight of constant scrutiny and the demands of success pushed him to his breaking point. He admitted to turning to alcohol and partying as coping mechanisms during this period, which only worsened his mental state.
Finally making it as a solo artist is a really big thing, and I can't wait to see that video where they're like, doom, 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 and they show you all the different things. So that's going to be exciting.
That's like a bit, you've arrived again there, right?
Yeah, it's going to be like, well, no pressure then, you know what I mean?
Awesome to see you, Lou, man.
Oh, fantastic.
Take it easy
Good
and
man,
have a
good
great
man.
day today.
The relentless pressure to maintain a public image, deliver hit after hit, and manage the intense public scrutiny likely led Liam to seek an escape. This is a common story in the music industry, where many artists, especially young stars, turn to drugs or alcohol to cope with the immense demands placed on them.
People can be dependent on them and become addicted to them, and that they can, either by their own initiative or with the support of others, they can stop using them.
You're living a double life. You are one person, but the world believes you to be someone else. So who are you when you walk out of the door in the morning? You can't be you because you feel it's shameful to be an addict, or it's shameful to be using the substances that you're using. So you pretend to be someone else, but that just deepens the malaise. It deepens the mental health problems that lead to this issue in the first place.
Liam turned to substances to cope with the immense pressure. He's openly discussed how the stresses of fame and the pop music machine contributed to his struggles with alcohol and substance abuse, particularly in the years after One Direction's hiatus.
I was worried how far my rock bottom was going to be. Where's rock bottom for me? And you would never have seen it. I'm very good at hiding it. No one would have ever have seen it. But rock bottom, I mean, I don't even know if I hit it yet.
He described how the band's meteoric rise to fame left him feeling overwhelmed and locked inside a persona he had to maintain for fans and the media. The relentless scrutiny contributed to his downward spiral, and he often felt like he had no outlet for these feelings. During the peak of his addiction, Liam revealed that there were times when he would drink heavily and take pills just to get through certain events or performances. In one interview, he described a point when his management team had to watch him carefully because of the risk to his health. His story echoes the experiences of artists like Justin Bieber, who battled similar issues under intense public scrutiny, and Demi Lovato, who struggled with addiction and mental health challenges in the limelight. Even artists like Amy Winehouse faced the darker sides of fame, where substance use became a tragic escape.
That's what Amy Winehouse, she once famously said that you know, people will carry on using, and I will carry on using unless the pain of using is greater than the pain of not using. And that's a really interesting way of looking at it. And one thing that addicts can convince themselves is they can't create without the drug. They can't create with alcohol. They can't create without heroin. They can't create without cocaine. But of course they can. And what happens is the further down that route they go, the less likely it is they're going to be able to retreat from it, and the more likely it is that it will take their career and perhaps ultimately take their life.
When as I do review deaths in many cases and look at the patterns of what happened before somebody came to their death, you often see critical points in people's lives where you think, if only at that point somebody had said something, or if only at that point somebody had advised him or her to do that, then you think, well, the whole outcome might have been completely different.
Payne's story reveals the often hidden toll fame can take, shedding light on the cost of celebrity in a brutally honest way. In the weeks leading up to his tragic death on October 16, 2024, Liam Payne was engaged in various personal and professional endeavors. During this time, he was in Buenos Aires, Argentina, reportedly working on new music while also taking a break from his rigorous performance schedule. In interviews leading up to his passing, Liam spoke about his aspirations for his future music and hinted at exciting collaborations. However, it was evident that he was also navigating significant mental health challenges, which had been exacerbated by the pressures of fame and public scrutiny.
Sometimes drugs are a way of anesthetizing the soul. When we are in pain, we can take a drug, and there's no addict I think I've ever met who isn't in some sort of pain. So when you feel in pain, you take the drug to anesthetize, to ameliorate that pain. And because the reality is sometimes too painful to face. And once you're on that cycle, once you begin to feel, well, I feel better when I take this, so I'll keep taking it. But of course, then you get to the familiar problem of tolerance, where, you know, the more you take, the less benign the effects and the more malign the effects are. And then you end up taking simply no longer to create pleasure, but simply to you know, take what little pain you can now take away. And that's the trajectory really that addicts who eventually die of their addictions go on. It's a miserable, lonely, unforgiving place to be. and one that really deserves our compassion, not our judgment.
Celebrities also have the additional pressures that the culture in which many of them work is a particularly drug or alcohol orientated culture, and that doesn't assist. Some people may appear proud and may, we all go through phases, I guess, in our lives of talking about how much we drank or what drugs we had, and that was a great evening we had. But most people, I think, would prefer to be free of the hassles and the uncertainty and the instability and the chaos of the lifestyles that many of these drug and alcohol dependencies bring.
It's between being sad, being relieved that he isn't suffering anymore. It's like being upset of the situation, because I know the outcome could be different if it was handled differently. It's frustrating because I couldn't do anything for him, and his voice and his live stream in pandemic, as we were talking, really helped us, really motivate us to go through the day and wake up and being alive. It really helped, and it's upsetting knowing that I couldn't do at least 1% of what he did for me. He really helped.
Well, among many people remembering Liam Payne today, fans and people who worked with him, well, the presenter Scarlett Douglas appeared alongside him in the 2023 England lineup for Soccer Aid, and she joins me now. Scarlett, very sad news today.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
It was a shock when I woke up this morning and heard the news. Obviously, I got to spend quite a few days with Liam last year, which was amazing. He was very bubbly, very happy. He was kind of the life of the party. So to hear this news today was just mind-blowing, really.
I mean, we just heard from his family as well. They're clearly heartbroken. But it's almost like the fans were his wider family, weren't they? Because the reaction, the outpouring that we've seen.
Absolutely. And I mean, they were a global band. They kind of took over the world. They were huge. They've been going for so many years, and even his solo career did so well. And he inspired so many people. So I think it's something that is going to be mourned for a very, very long time throughout people of all different ages, really, because he affected so many of us,
It's hard to describe how I'm feeling. It's like sadness, but it's sadness, and at the same time it's like quite hard to believe what's happening, what we're experiencing right now. You're never prepared to turn the TV on and find out that one of your idols is dead. Passed away, and it's hard, it's shocked. It's a mix of emotions that we really don't know how to process. That's the truth. It's better, it's comfortable now that we are all together, that all the directors are together, that we are a family, we always be, and we always were and we will always be.
Mental health problems such as, general anxiety disorder or depression are particularly pernicious because people who are performers are expected always to be on their game. They're always expected to be, on stage doing their best, or when the cameras roll, they're expected to perform without fail. And often people who suffer, say, from depression, they'll lead this very awfully debilitating double life, where they're, the star, the happy person, the capable, confident person in front of the cameras, and yet in their daily life they either can't get to sleep, or they're too depressed to get out of bed, or they suffer from chronic anxiety. They have an extraordinarily low self-esteem. They don't believe they're worth anything, and then they go back and perform. But of course, what's performing is not the person they identify with. The person they identify with is the one that lives when the cameras shut down, and that's the person that needs protection. They carry on and we don't spot it. And they can be talking quite normally and looking as if they're completely happy, but underneath it they're already plotting maybe their own suicide. And we should never underestimate the deleterious effect, really, of clinical depression. It's not, people say, I understand depression, I get sad occasionally. Everybody gets sad occasionally, but that's not what depression is. Depression is life-threatening. Depression is being so numb to the events in the world that you don't care whether you live or die. It's being so numb, not only can you not get out of bed in the morning, but you can't even love your own children. That's what depression is like.
I just couldn't believe it. I mean, like, 31 is just very sad and devastating. And yeah, just shocking, really.
I've honestly loved them all my life. Like, my mom introduced me to them when I was like 4, and I've always loved them. And then like, I've only just gotten into it much more recently now that I'm older. And like, this is, knowing that he's just gone is like just so sad. It's like horrible. It was night, and then I was reading, and then I just get a bunch of messages, and it's like, Liam, something's happened to Liam and everything. And then at first I was so shocked, and then I started crying. It was just horrible.
It's upset my son because he's been a huge fan of One Direction since the beginning, and Liam was so lovely and kind. We got to meet in Manchester, took time, taking photographs, selfies, did a little video for him. It was lovely.
I still sing to Drag Me Down and things like that, their songs. I absolutely love it. It is really upsetting, and I've got loads of mates that were really, really upset. I got phone calls and people in tears.
He was so inspirational, and, you know, he always spoke out to me. And it's just devastating that, obviously, you know, the tragic news, he's gone. It is devastating. I was literally up at 1 o'clock this morning crying my eyes out.
This must have been one of the most difficult days any parent could face. Arriving from the mortuary where his son was lying, to then see for himself the place where Liam Payne died. Fans helped protect his privacy as he entered the lobby. But on emerging from the hotel, Jeff Payne was given the space and silence he deserved to view the hundreds of messages from mourning fans. He stayed for nearly 10 minutes, taking time to read the cards and look at the photos. Thanking the hundreds of fans who wept as they formed a circle around the makeshift shrine. The dignified hush broken only by the sobs of those who'd gathered to pay their respects. Many here had grown up listening to his music, had learnt English through his lyrics. They might not have ever met him, but he was still a key part of their childhood.
Jeff Payne's visit here, although initially rather chaotic, did mean the world to these fans who've been holding vigil outside this hotel for days.
We just try to make Liam's dad feel comfortable, that he can say a goodbye here in Argentina.
He took the time to say thank you to every single each of us that are here paying our respects and giving him back the light he gave us with his music.
Music which has been sung with a new poignancy by fans, whose vigil here is a sign of how much Liam Payne was loved and how much he'll be missed.
Part where my dad says about taking me to the pub and stuff, like every time I watch it, it really does like make me want to cry because I just want to give him a hug.
Will it be a couple of tears?
Because he really wants to.
Because I'm only going to take him to the pub later. I don't know what he's on about.
Liam Payne's struggles with substance, anxiety, and the pressures of fame highlight the darker side of the pop music machine. Despite his success, the intense demands of the industry, combined with a lack of personal support and space to grow outside the public eye, likely contributed to the challenges he faced throughout his career.
10 years ago,
Yes.
you were on the show as a solo artist.
And the band was created in this building.
In this building?
In this very building.
But you were a solo artist before that. Has
Yes.
this it's always been the aim, right?
Well, it's always been a dream. I wouldn't say it was always the aim. I mean, once One Direction started, that was just the passion, you know, and it was fantastic, and it still is. You know, it's coming back around at some point, I'm sure.
Does it feel a bit weird that you kind of went solo, you went into a group and you went solo again? It's a bit of a full circle.
Oh, it's all happening. It's all happening. But it's fantastic. I'm just so happy to be here. You know, being on a bill with someone like Eminem is incredible. I never thought in my whole career I would ever get to a stage where, you know, like someone I used to listen to in my bedroom as a kid, I'm now, you know, sharing a stage with.
His story serves as a reminder of the human cost that often comes with early stardom and the relentless pressure to succeed in the commercialized world of pop music.
Those were the happy, happy times. You know, they wanted fame and fortune and all those things, and they really got it. But maybe those were the special happy times, those X Factor days.
You know what? It is the X Factor. You know, when we created the show, it was always about finding someone special, and these guys are the best ambassadors for what we do. They're very hardworking, smart, talented, but I never dreamt this would happen. If I knew, I'd do it again, right? You get lucky, you know, you find the right people, they're hardworking, they're focused, and that's why they've been so successful.
But despite his stardom, Liam never forgot the drafty church hall where he started, or his teacher.
It doesn't seem real. I'm still waiting for him to send me another message, or, you know, to hear his voice again, I suppose.
The last time they spoke was yesterday.
I said, where are you? Because he's always in LA, or, you know, he flicks around from day to day, can be anywhere. And then he said, I'm in Argentina. And that's when I knew it was obviously true when I was watching it last night, because that's where the news came from. He was so nervous to go on, so I had to sort of like give him a bit of a kick on, you know, to get him on there. And the difference of him, you know, from even side stage to being on stage was immense. And then obviously his confidence just kept growing and growing until he became the star that he is today. I remember he threw a tomato at my head while I was teaching over there, and it squashed on my head in front of the class. Everyone thought it was funny.
She says Liam never lost that spark and stayed grounded until the end.
I've never seen Liam as famous, never ever. You know, I've seen him have opportunities, but I've never seen him as this star that everyone else sees him as.
Liam's time in One Direction would undoubtedly be a major part of his legacy. The band revolutionized the boy band genre in the 2010s, breaking records, amassing a huge global fan base, and influencing a new generation of artists. It will reflect the joy and energy of his time in One Direction, his journey as a solo artist, and, perhaps most importantly, his courage in confronting the challenges that came with fame. His story serves as both a reminder of the excitement and fulfillment that can come with pursuing one's dreams, and a cautionary tale about the real price of fame. Through his honesty and vulnerability, Liam has become an example of resilience, reminding us all of the importance of mental health, self-care, and the strength it takes to confront life's struggles head-on. This was the price of fame for Liam Payne, a journey through the highest highs, the darkest lows, and ultimately a path toward healing and authenticity.